Grok-3 is here. Elon Musk and the xAI team promised us Grok-3 8 p.m. last night, and they actually delivered. They said it was going to be the smartest AI in the world. And I actually had some doubts about that, but it turns out they were kind of right. It is #1 on the LM Arena leaderboards. That's a ranking chosen by users rather than standard benchmarks. And they are #1. So let me tell you everything about Grok-3. This video is brought to you by pgai by Timescale, the easiest way to power your AI applications with PostgreSQL. Before I get into it, let me actually just show you my predictions about Grok-3. And by the way, if you're not following me on X, please do at Matthew Berman. So prediction, xAI will be equivalent to o1, but will be sassy and have other features AI companies won't do. GPT-5 will be great, lightning fast and cheap, Claude 4, and then GPT-5 will come as the Omni model. Now, let's stick to xAI. It will be equivalent to o1. Basically, it kind of is. It's right about the same. It edges it out on a couple benchmarks and on the LM Arena leaderboards, but it's basically equivalent to o1. They didn't talk anything about its personality, about censorship, about what it can and can't say, so the whole sassy bit, I don't know about. Apparently it is, but we'll see. And they actually launched a few other features that other companies already had, like deep search, tool usage. But the thing that really makes Grok stand out is its access to X's data. It is really the only AI that has access to this enormous amount of human-generated data on X. Now, let me show you a few of the benchmarks from the live stream last night. I'm going to show you a few clips from the live stream, and then we're going to talk more about Grok's performance. So here are the benchmarks. This is the first set of benchmarks that they showed, and they have Grok-3 and Grok-3 Mini. These are not the thinking versions of them. And as you can see in the blue columns, they do match or exceed Gemini 2 Pro, DeepSeek V3, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and GPT-4o. Again, these are the non-thinking models. So the base model that they then can turn into a thinking model is already better than really any other model out there. And it's actually pretty substantial, especially Grok-3. So if you look at the math Amy benchmark, we have a 52 as compared to the next highest non-Grok score, which is a 39 for DeepSeek V3. On the science, we have a 75 compared to a 65 next, and on coding, 57 compared to 40. Now, what's really interesting, and I'm going to touch on it a little bit, is they focus the reinforcement learning on math and coding only. Those are areas where you can have reinforcement learning with verifiable rewards. That's why they're so powerful. But what's really interesting is apparently, and Elon and team talk about this, the model was able to generalize outside of the training data, just based on training on math and coding. And that is very interesting. And so the model was trained with reinforcement learning, specifically on math and coding benchmarks. And so they scored really well on the Amy 2024. But then they thought to themselves, maybe we overfitted to that benchmark. So Amy 2025 came out and they let the model go after that benchmark, and it performed incredibly well, which means it generalized beyond its training data. So look at this. We have Gemini 2 Flash Thinking down here, DeepSeek R1, O1, O3 Mini High, and then Grok-3 Mini Reasoning and Grok-3 Reasoning Beta all the way up here. So it was able to perform really well on these math questions it had never seen before. Very, very good. Next, here's the Chatbot Arena LM-Sys, and it is the first model, which was codenamed Chocolate, and this was an early Grok-3 version, above 1400 ELO. The next highest scoring one is Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking, right there. Now, here's the thing. I haven't used Gemini much at all, but a lot of the smartest people in AI are telling me that I am missing out by not using Gemini. So I definitely have to get that into my workflow. And if we take a look, O1, so this is last year's O1, is all the way down here at like 1350. And we have GPT-4o, the very latest version, way up here at 1380. So GPT-4o just got a major upgrade. Maybe you've used it. Apparently, it's a lot more personable, a lot less like a robot, and just has more personality. And you know what's just as smart as Grok-3? The sponsor of today's video, pgai. The Timescale DB team just released a new product called pgai. It's a set of database tools that sits right on top of your Postgres instance, and it gives you a lot of functionality that is specific to AI. And the best part, it's completely open source. PG Vectorizer allows you to add vectorization to your traditional Postgres database. So no need to learn new tools, no need to have multiple databases to manage, which from personal experience, I could tell you is a pain. pgai Vectorizer supports embeddings from a variety of open source embedding models via Ollama, as well as state-of-the-art proprietary models from companies like OpenAI. It's open source, you can self-host it, so it's absolutely free if you do it that way, but you can also have a cloud-based version completely hosted for you, so you don't have to worry about anything through Timescale. And it's super easy to set up. Just a single SQL command is all you need. It has a lot of customization options, so you can choose the embedding model you use and other things like indexing, chunking sizes, and formatting options. It has built-in experimentation capabilities, so you can run multiple vectorizers, test different models, test different embeddings, and see which one works best for your application. So check out pgai. You can go to pgai.com, which will take you directly to their open source GitHub page. And Light LLM and SQL Alchemy integration with pgai Vectorizer is now live. This update makes it easier than ever to bring AI into PostgreSQL. I'll drop all of the links down below, including their fully hosted solution, which comes with a 30-day free trial. Thanks, and now back to the video. Now, here are the scores for the thinking model versus other thinking models. Now, here's what's interesting. This was actually a chart provided by an OpenAI employee, Rex, and this was the chart that the XAI team showed to show how good Grok-3 is, but they did not have this O3 model in here. So imagine you've seen this, but without the O3 model. Now, if you see it without that, it looks like Grok is the best. And it was at the time. And that is versus O3 Mini High, O1, DeepSeek R1, and Gemini 2 Flash Thinking. It is basically beating them, not by a whole lot, but it is beating them. Now, when you add O3, and this is the December version, you actually see that O3 is still the best model on the planet. But again, and this is a post by LM Arena, Grok-3 is number one. Chocolate was its name. And a lot of people thought Chocolate might be the next gen model from XAI. But that's not the most impressive thing. The most impressive thing is the fact that XAI was very late to the game of training models, training these incredible models, and they were able to catch up to frontier models. Whether they're beating them or just behind them, it doesn't matter. The fact that they were able to do this in such a short period of time is pretty mind-blowing. Let me just show you how incredible this is. So this is by user AI for Success. XAI growth is insane. So Grok 1 early access, November 2023, basically an unusable model. Grok on X for Premium Plus users just a few months later. Grok 1 open source just a few months after that. Grok 1.5, May 2024. Grok 2, August 2024. Aurora, November 2024. And then Grok 3, 2025. And then how are they able to do this? Well, one, they have a data set that nobody else has. They have the same data, the public web data that everybody else has. And then they have X's data, which is just an insane amount of data that keeps growing every single day. And the most surprising thing was Elon Musk talked about the build out of their data center, 100,000 GPUs, and apparently it's more than that now. And he explains how at first he went to the hyperscalers and they told him to get 100,000 GPUs up and running, it's going to take about 18 to 24 months. He said, no, that doesn't work. And they built it themselves. They had to figure out the building to buy. They had to figure out the energy. They had to figure out the cooling, how to connect all of these GPUs in a coherent way. And so all of those GPUs really came in handy. And the thing is, Grok-3 is super fast. I think it's a few hundred tokens per second. That was the most impressive thing to me. And if you have a paid X account, you probably have Grok-3 already. So here it is. It says Grok-2. I click the dropdown and there is Grok-3 beta. So there's a few things that are all built into this model. It has kind of a deep research feature, which they showed off. It has a brainstorm feature, an analyze data feature, create image feature, and code feature. Then they have the think button right there. And that is where you're going to get the longer thinking from the Grok model. Now, let me just show you how fast this is. So build the game Snake in Python. Thinking. Look at that. Excellent, excellent speed. So you do get to see the chain of thought, which is nice. However, Elon talked about the fact that they're not showing the full chain of thought. They're using a little bit of obfuscation to hide some of it. And he specifically said so that their model doesn't get copied overnight. Let me play that clip.
You can even go inside and actually read what Grok is thinking as it's going through the problem, as it's trying to solve it.
Yeah, we say like we are doing some obscuration of the thinking so that our model doesn't get totally copied instantly. So there's more to the thinking than is displayed. Yeah.
All right, now back to this. It's been thinking. It's going on just about 50 seconds now. Look how much it has output. All of this, it keeps going. It is lightning fast, but what else do you expect with 100,000 plus GPUs? Now I'm gonna create a separate testing video. That's not the point of this, but as you can see, it's starting to output code and hopefully it just works. So thought for 85 seconds and now it's just gonna output the code one more time. I don't know why it's doing that, but that's fine. Now, he also talked about, as I mentioned, the fact that the reinforcement learning was essentially just math and just coding, which is really interesting because then from there, it was able to generalize beyond just math and coding and actually have real logic, real reasoning, and real thinking ability. Very, very impressive. And again, RL is all you need. Elon also mentioned they're not even done. The model is going to get better every single day. So these GPUs are still going burr. They're still training the model. They are going to come out with newer versions. And they also have other features that are coming very soon as well. And of course, Grok talked about agents. So we have Grok agents right at the bottom, and their first agent is a deep research agent. Exactly what you think it is. So deep research from Perplexity, deep research from Google, deep research from Grok. All of these companies are launching deep research. And let me show you this clip of deep research in action.
When is the next Starship launch day, for example? So let's try that. Let's hit the answer. On the left-hand side, we see a high-level progress bar. Essentially, the model not only just going to do one single search like the current RAG system, but actually thought very deeply about, hey, what's the user intent here? And what are the facts I should consider at the same time? And how many different websites I should actually go and read their content, right? So this can really save hundreds of hours of everyone's Google time if you want to really look into certain topics. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the bullet summaries of how the current model is doing, what websites browsing, what sources verifying, and oftentimes actually cross-validate different sources out there to make sure the answer is actually correct before it's output final answer.
So overall, I'm very impressed. I must say, I wasn't expecting them to launch such a good model with so many different features. But you know what? I guess never bet against Elon is true. Now, the Grok team didn't talk about open source much or really at all. So I don't know if they're planning on open sourcing any of this, but nonetheless, I'm very impressed. They've caught up. We have another frontier model by another incredible AI company. The speed at which they're moving is insane. And thanks again to pgai by Timescale. Try pgai today. It's open source. Link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.